Edmonton stole the first one. Can they repeat the result tonight? We get you set for Game 2 of the Western Conference Final between the Oilers and the Stars right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hope you're doing well on this Saturday afternoon, late afternoon, early evening, as we get you set for Game number 2 between the Oilers and the Stars. Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev with you inside the EST Global HQ studios. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, will be joining us a little bit later on. Actually, he's going early today at 4:45 with Game Changers. And then we will catch up with Lia Assimakopoulos from the Dallas Morning News to get the Stars side of things as we prep for what should be another exciting matchup between two very, very, very good teams. It's down to the Final Four. It's the last two in the Western Conference. It's the weekend. It's nice outside. We are all excited for some excellent action tonight. Of course, GCL Diesel, presenting sponsor of the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show, Edmonton's diesel fuel systems specialists and providers of critical engine components for over 50 years. Great to have them on board. You guys know the routine. Join the conversation. Hit us up on the text line 780-218-9999. And if you're watching, you can also get in the conversation and talk amongst yourselves as well in the Nasty Chat. If you haven't already liked, shared, subscribed, told your friends about EST, please do. We appreciate that. The numbers continue to grow, and that's why we do this thing, and it has been a lot of fun. On the YouTube side, it has totally replaced phone calls. Trevor, people would be like, stop taking calls when we're at 1260. They hated the calls. I know for some it was a way to vent. For others, it was a way to troll. For the majority, they would text us and be like, Tom, Cass, enough with these calls. They're so stupid. Stupid. So we said, when we go to the news shop, let's see what happens with the Nasty Chat. And it has been a pleasant surprise. We are monitoring it. If anybody sneaks in, Dallas Stars fans, Vancouver Canucks fans, Calgary Flames fans, and they're stupid, time out for you. Twitter, not Twitter jail, YouTube jail. How are you today, Trev?
I'm very good, Thomas. Thank you. How are you today?
Oh, Thomas.
Thomas, you said Trevor.
I did say Trevor, so I did warrant a Thomas response. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's that's interesting that people didn't like the calls when I was always listening to Pat Steinberg, as we know, friend of EST. I loved that.
Dear friend,
absolutely. I loved listening to the callers and hearing what they had to say. So that's interesting. Maybe it's just a little bit different here in Edmonton, but yeah, it's great. It's been a great day. We started strong with another unbelievable episode of Hello Hockey.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. So it's always a fun time producing that show. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out because it was a good one. It was really good. We had Sean Bell.
He's back
in town. Had a great story about his Vegas trip, so you'll definitely want to stick around for that. And
ugly boots.
Ugly boots. Them darn ugly boots.
Yeah.
That's a knee slapper right there, Tommy. Yeah, so it was good.
Check out this week's edition of Hello Hockey. It was a lot of fun. We had Kevin Connaughton on. He played last season, or this season, I should say. Their season just ended. For the Ontario Reign of the AHL, longtime NHLer, Edmonton area product, bouncer of the NHL, drafted by the Canucks, played for the Jackets, played for the Ducks, the Stars, and the Flyers. And I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, Coyotes. And then continuing to play in the American Hockey League, looking to extend his career at 34 years of age. Great interview. Good guy. Conflicted. Edmonton area guy. Lives in Dallas. Played for the Stars. Never played for the Oilers. He was great. And then Pagnotta dropping the Stanley Cup final schedule on our show.
Breaking news here, Tommy.
Breaking news.
We're breaking news.
And I'll put it out there again for those that didn't catch it. The Stanley Cup final schedule has been set according to David Bartholomew Pagnotta. That is definitely not his middle name. June 8th, Game 1. June 10th, Game 2. June 13th, Game 3. June 15th, Game 4. Game 5, if needed, on the 18th. 6, if needed, on the 21st. And 24th for the Game 7 that would decide it all for that beautiful silver chalice donated by Lord Stanley of Preston over 100 and something years ago.
Look at that.
Look at this.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's almost it's like 3 days between some games.
They do that, yes.
Yeah.
I love, before we get into lineups, and Cass will be joining us in about 7 minutes' time, I love those that, like, on X or wherever, they're like, but what about if these series don't go for very long? Can they adapt them and change this? Probably, but the plan is, like, if we think about it, we're at Game 2 of the Western Conference Final. Eastern Conference Final, Game 2 was yesterday. I guess these series, like, they're not done till when? June 2nd at the earliest?
Yeah, Maddie and I were talking about it. I think the 2nd or 4th was what we were coming down to.
So they'll take the extra days.
Yeah.
And if you go, why? How come? It's because basketball on TNT, ESPN. What if the Dallas Stars and the Mavericks proceed to the final? And in the NBA, it's called the finals. They add the S. So that's why the schedule is kind of already set. June 8th, Game 1, Stanley Cup Final. Will it be the Oilers? Will it be the Stars? Will it be the Panthers? Will it be the Rangers? Time will tell. Boom. Dave Pagnotta, breaking news on our fine program, Hello Hockey. Check it out if you haven't. We appreciate that. The numbers are going up for Hello Hockey as well. And you can also catch it on Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver and Sportsnet 960 in Calgary. Canada, Western Canadian side of things, it's there.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. Question of the night. Trev gets it first. I'm putting it out to you, our audience. After watching Game 1, has your opinion changed on how the Oilers stack up against the Stars? Tell us. 780-218-9999 or via the nasty chat. One more time. Question of the night. After watching Game 1, has your opinion changed on how the Oilers stack up against the Stars? I want to hear from you. Trev, what say you?
I think it's changed a little bit, not a lot, but for the most part, Tommy, I think the Oilers handled the Stars very well. I'm not expecting the same outcome tonight. You know, we talked about the sluggish. They had a few days off, right? So I'm expecting right from the get-go, the Stars are going to be, they're going to be going. They're going to be buzzing today. And just watching how they handled the Golden Knights, how they handled the Colorado Avalanche, they were all over those teams. I didn't see those Dallas Stars against the Oilers the other night. But then going back to the last time that these two teams played, it was in the regular season, but I remember the postgame very
vividly.
Very vividly. Thank you. It was 5-0, I believe, was that game, and the Stars just absolutely steamrolled the Oilers. They were just not happy with that performance, and so the Oilers looked a lot better, comparing the games. So I will say. It's changed a little bit. I was very impressed with how the Oilers handled the Stars in Game 1. But in saying that, I would be very surprised if the Stars came out the same way. If the Oilers were able to limit their chances, they're going to bring it tonight. So I think I'll be able to know a little bit more after tonight's game. But,
okay.
Yeah.
It was interesting. And keep in mind, I think it's pretty much accepted across the board that the Stars were a bit sloppy. Especially to start that game, right? Most people acknowledge that.
Absolutely.
And say, hey, Dallas is sharper. I think the team we saw in the third period, certainly in the first OT, that's more Dallas Stars hockey. So that's going to force Edmonton to have to elevate its game a little bit. Can they? Will they? Can they? Yes. Will they? We'll find out. 780-218-9999. It is the question of the night. After watching Game 1, has your opinion changed on how the Oilers stack up against the Stars? We want to hear from you. Let's get to starting lineups. Matt Kassian almost ready to rock and or roll. For the Oilers, as of right now, we're going to say status quo. No changes to the lineup. The one wrinkle, Adam Henrique has been listed as a game-time decision. I'm sure he's going to take the warm-up. If he does, we'll get an indication if he is good to go. However, he did stay out late for optional morning skate, and when you stay out late, that generally means you're with the scratches, and usually that means you're not playing. If you're out there for a quick twirl and you get off relatively early, probably an indicator that you're playing. So if Henrique does not go, McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, Draisaitl between Holloway and Kane, McLeod with Fogle, and Ryan Carrick with Janmark and Brown. That's what they went with in games 6, 7, and 1 on this 3-game winning streak that the Oilers have going in the postseason. Ekholm with Bouchard on defense, Nurse with Desharnais, Kulak with Ceci, Henrique, game time decision, no Perry, no Stetcher, no Gagner. As for the Dallas Stars, they also have a very important game time decision. His name is Rope Hintz. He's a game breaker. He's fast. He's skilled. He has killed the Oilers at times. We'll see if he's good to go. Also taking the optional morning skate today. This is how the Stars went with Game 1 with their lineup. Wyatt Johnston between Jason Robertson and Logan Stankoven. Matt Duchene was with Mason Marchment and Joe Pavelski. Tyler Seguin between Jamie Benn and Evgeny Dodonov. Sam Steele between Radek Faksa and Craig Smith. On defense, Thomas Harley with Miro Heiskanen, Esa Lindell with Chris Tanev, and Ryan Suter with Alex Petrovich. So Hintz, a game-time decision. Yanni Hakanpää dealing with the lower body issue. No Ty Dellandrea, no Nils Lundqvist. If there are any changes there, we will pass them along your way. Should be no surprise starting goalies. Stuart Skinner for the Oilers, the 25-year-old, 8-3 in the postseason, 270 goals against average, 888 save percentage, 1 shutout in 11 games this postseason. Skinner lifetime in the Stanley Cup playoffs, 13-9 record, 318 GAA, 885 save percentage with that 1 shutout in 23 career playoff games. And at the other end of the rink, it is 25-year-old Jake Ottinger, 8-6, 210 goals against average, 919 save percentage in 14 playoff games. Ottinger, 21-19 with 244 GAA, 917 save percentage with 2 shutouts in 42 games in the playoffs over the course of his career. So there you go. Those are your starting netminders, some projected lineups, and we will see if Adam Henrique is good to go, game time decision, and if Rope Hintz is good to go, also a game time decision. 780-218-9999, question of the night, or via the nasty chat if you're watching on YouTube. After watching Game 1, has your opinion changed on how the Oilers stack up against the Stars? Let's go into the inbox and have a look right now. What's going on over there? Maple Jed getting into the action. And he says, I still think it will be a long series, but I saw the Oilers getting better as the game went on. My hopes are sky high. Give them some power plays, and who knows, Oilers may blow a few games wide open as well. KL says, for the question of the night, I'm impressed with their D against a team like Dallas, but this series is going to be dictated on the play of Skinner and the top 2 lines. And KL also says, texting from Fasano, Italy tonight, boys. We need another solid performance from Skinner tonight. Can't wait for Game 2 at 2 a.m. LFG KL. KL, thank you for staying up late. I hope that the Oilers reward you with what you want to see from them. Maybe it's going to be a tough game, just like Game 1 was. And Fasano, Italy, we're adding it to the map. We're adding it to the map. We're adding pins to that map every day, it feels like. And it's fantastic. Woo! What was that, Trev? Woo! Can we get that on there?
Yeah. Woo! Let's go.
There you go. Trev's excited. That's his excited. Woo! Jimbo getting it on the action. Jimbo texting it says, Game 1 was the fastest hockey I've seen this year. The 2 teams were going shot for shot, hit for hit. I was very impressed with how the Oilers kept up with the Stars and finished every check. They need to continue to play at the high pace if they want to take this series. I am worried the depth of the Stars may be too much, but the Oilers showed they can compete and push the play. Bobby LaFrench giving Hello Hockey some love. Bobby LaFrench says, Hello Hockey is amazing. EST does a bunch of solid programming, bolstering a community of listeners and covering the local scene, and it's super impressive. Hello Hockey stands alone, though, as the most thorough and thoughtful of all the programs. Oh, Bobby LaFrench. TG and Belzy, so good together, and they do a great job sharing their knowledge of the hockey world. Absolutely love it. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Bobby LaFrench. And we can't do it without YouTube. Trev, and everybody who watches and listens, thank you guys so very much. Bobby LaFrench, that's like an 85% confidence boost right there. Belzy's damn good. You know who else is damn good? our game analyst, Matt Kassian. Let's get that bad boy in here. He's ready to go for game 2. There he is. Hat backwards. Knees weak. Mom spaghetti. Something.
Vomit already.
Yeah, that one. That old ditty. Yeah, that's a doo-wop song from the 50s, I think.
Yep. Has to be.
It must be. As we get into game changers with Matt Kassian, I'm going to go to the question of the night first with Cass. It is, after watching game 1, has your opinion changed on how the Oilers stack up against the Stars? Matty, what would you say?
No, it has not. And sometimes it changes. Vancouver series, saw the first game. My opinion of that series changed, where I was like, I don't think it's Oilers in 6 anymore. Now it's Oilers in 7. Vancouver looked really, really good.
Yeah.
Now, Dallas, that's not saying Dallas didn't look good, but Edmonton looked capable, I would say. Dallas at points looked really good as well during that game. So it hasn't changed my overall opinion. I said Oilers in 7. I'm going to stick with it. Tommy, it hasn't swayed me one way or the other. I don't think it's going to be a short series. It's going to be back and forth.
Yep.
But yeah, Edmonton in 7 still, in my opinion.
Hey, I'm with you all the way, lockstep there, Cass. And I know that was a good way to get the split off the hop. That's great. That's a check mark for the Oilers, right? You tick a box there.
Mark.
Yep. Sigh of relief. Someone on Hello Hockey earlier today made a good point where it seems like, I'm paraphrasing them, but I understand where they're coming from with the sentiment. I thought about it too. It seems like after the Oilers have a little bit of success, they can lay off the gas, or they don't come out with the same sense of urgency at times. They've done that. That's why this was brought up. And I agree with that text. I can't remember who off the top of my head. I'd have to dig into the text line, but it was from earlier in the day on Hello Hockey. But Cass, that is kind of part of Edmonton's repertoire or MO is they'll give you the great game, but then they'll come back with the stinker. And that is in their tool of tricks, unfortunately.
Yeah, the opposite is also true, where they've given a stinker and then they pull out a great game.
Yes.
And we could also say the same thing about Dallas, because we have seen them do the same thing. In fact, it's actually quite common, I would say, across the league for that to happen. Now, with this Edmonton Oilers team, I think we've been burned enough times in the past where the overconfidence has happened. Tom, this also is a team. How many games did they string together in a row this season?
16.
Yeah.
Is that good?
So that's pretty good.
Okay.
So they do have the ability to play a good game and then play another good game or more good games. It's not something that they cannot do. But, I agree that you, as a player and as a coach, you're looking at this going, I really don't want to have that let up, because on the road to start a series, your objective is coming out of there 1-1.
Yes.
When you start a series and you're on the road, that is 100% your objective. If we come out here 1-1, we are happy. We have turned it into a 5-game series, and we are coming into our home building, and we want to win 2 games in our building. That's the mindset. Now, they got the split already, or the first part of the split, at least. And so the mindset is to not be satisfied. Maybe if things don't go well early in the game, maybe when Dallas pushes, and they're going to push, they're going to press, they're going to play with some urgency and desperation in their game. And if maybe they score 1 or 2 and you're down, you hope the tendency isn't to sag a little bit. So there's certainly a risk of that happening. I think we haven't seen them overly do that this playoffs. Overly, I guess the one game against LA, I guess you could kind of say in the first
and they
series,
still almost climbed their way. They force OT and lost an OT in that one, if I'm remembering correctly. But I like, and you're right, Cass, but I like the attitude, and I hope they have it tonight. I don't know if they will. We'll see which Oilers team shows up. But where, the playing with the house money, and you got the check mark with the split already, I hope that they go into this one tonight with the screw that mentality, not satisfied, try to repeat the process and even elevate the game to get the result again and take a series back to Edmonton up 2. Like not satisfied. I would love to see that. I don't know if we will. I don't think we will. I think, like you said, Dallas is going to push and push.
Dallas is going to push. Dallas is going to push. And it's going to be interesting, if Edmonton can get through and win this hockey game. We've seen Dallas already in this playoffs in that position before and win a series. So, even carrying a 2-game lead, if that's what you end up with, this series isn't over. Like, it's going to be a continual battle here, as it will be tonight. I think we see a better Dallas team tonight, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to challenge Edmonton a little bit more. Stuart Skinner's going to have to be good again. I just, well, you know what? We'll talk about some of that in Game Changers. So
I like that. There. Good segue. Matt Kassian with us. It is Game Changers, as always, brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian Remax realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Damon, community-driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. And this leads us perfectly into number one, talking about those Oilers and their tendencies. Avoid one's own foot, Cass. Well said, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yep, as in shooting. What is shooting, Alex? This has been a little bit of a problem at times.
Yes.
We've seen it manifest itself in those grade A turnovers at key points in the game that have allowed other teams back into the game, or just really, really been at like the worst times possible. Mm-hmm. Got to get that out of your game. And I know you don't go into it thinking, I'm just, going to really make sure to not make those mistakes, or planning on making a mistake at this time and having a puck hop over your stick right in front of your own net, or it could just, things happen in the game. And I understand that. At the same time, Tom, in the playoffs.
Yes.
In the Western Conference Final.
Yes.
Can't let that stuff happen. Can't let it happen. Too many freebies. The Oilers have been giving up too many freebies. Now they overcome last game. They overcame the amount of times they did it in the Vancouver series, but it is an issue and something that we have seen happen now a couple of times over the course of the playoffs. And I think an important part of the game tonight is not giving Dallas any freebies. Dallas doesn't need any freebies.
No.
They got a really good team. They're going to get some opportunities. They're probably going to score some goals. Don't give them any freebies. So just none of the blatant, horrible, 5-alarm pizza turnovers, giveaways right in front of your net. When everyone's going the other direction, like that stuff just can't happen tonight, Tom. So that's game changer number one. Numero uno.
Avoid one's own foot. Well said, Cass. If you have any questions for Cass, by the way, or want to bounce something off of him, 780-218-9999 or via the nasty chat. To those, I saw some new viewers. Welcome to Edmonton Sports Talk. We like having you. Hit that thumbs up. All right, number
Smash
two.
That subscribe. Smash the subscribe. Smash it.
Number two, Cass, is rush generation.
Yeah, rush generation, scoring off the rush. Oilers did a great job of creating rush chances last game, and need to do it again today. Dallas, that the Tanev and Esa Lindell pairing on defense in particular, very good at defending inside out, big bodies, clear the front of the net well. Fairly reachy and rangy, good at blocking shots. They do a lot of things really well. They at times can struggle against the rush for Edmonton, and I think you saw them get exposed once or twice with Edmonton's speed. And overall as a team, I think against Dallas, that is where there is opportunity to generate lots of offense. And even if it's not, where you're scoring a goal in the rush, being able to get a puck to the net on the rush and create some chances forces Dallas to scramble a little bit in their defensive zone where they're not set. They're not comfortable. They're not exactly where they need to be. They're spinning around, looking around, trying to find bodies and sticks and where the puck went. And it's just where you're going to get some additional opportunities. Those rush chances, I think, are key. Now that starts in your defensive zone.
Yes.
Starts with that first pass, being successful, trying to move it to players with speed, centers being in a good position to support wingers on the wall, to pick up the puck with motion, to be able to, have some of that push through from the weak side winger to push those defensemen of Dallas back a little bit. I think there's opportunity there, Tom, for them. I think we saw it a little bit in game one. I think they can expose it even more here in game two.
All right, it is Game Changers with Matt Kassian. Number one, avoid one's own foot. You just heard number two, rush generation. We'll see if the Oilers can continue to provide offense and generate it off the rush, quick foot speed, all that stuff, and heads-up plays. We'll see if Edmonton can do that against Dallas. Number three, Cass tonight, defensive commitment.
Yeah, got to keep doing the same things they've been doing, and they've done a very good job of this, I would say. Last game, they did a very good job of this. Now, when I say defensive commitment, I just don't mean 5-on-5. I mean that penalty kill that has been so good in their own zone, at blocking shots, at clearing pucks, at applying pressure. And Edmonton's defensemen, I think, have done, after game one in the series, they did a very good job defensively in their own zone. Now, you had a couple posts on that 4 minutes that seemed like it lasted eternity in overtime, in OT1. It gave us all, it shortened our lives by a couple minutes, just from the stress, I think, of that penalty kill. But as a whole, over the course of that game, Tom, the Edmonton Oilers did a pretty good job of keeping pucks to the outside. They did a pretty good job of not having an overly heavy amount of secondary opportunities on Stuart Skinner. And because of that, Stuart Skinner was able to just settle into his game, play with some confidence, add some stability, and make a couple big saves of his own. And I just want to see more of that again tonight, Tom. That defensive, the level of commitment that the Oilers have been playing with defensively has been very, very good. They need to come back with that same effort tonight, again, against a Dallas team that I think is going to make a push.
Absolutely. They will, looking to even up the series when it comes to Edmonton on Monday night. It is Game Changers with Matt Kassian, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Question of the night, I'll throw it out there one more time. Text us 780-218-9999. And if you're watching on our YouTube channel, get into the nasty chat. To all of you listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, thank you, as always. Maybe you're making your way down to the arena and the district for the watch party. It's a beautiful day out there here in Edmonton. Question of the night, after watching Game 1, has your opinion changed on how the Oilers stack up against the Stars? Cass, would people's opinion potentially change more if Adam Henrique, who is a game-time decision for this one, does slot in tonight? And what do you think of Henrique and the impact he could have, A, on the ice, and then B, for the roster and guys maybe slotting in different areas on the lineup?
Yeah, it's tricky. This is a tricky one, Tom.
Yeah.
Because the Oilers have been winning without him. And so you're like, okay, do you slide him in on that third line? Now, I think if you can lessen Ryan McLeod's role a little bit at this current time, that might be beneficial. So you're probably looking to slot him in. Maybe you can roll McLeod to the wing. What's hard for me with it is maybe I'll go back to the first part of that question. No, it doesn't change where I view it as Oilers in 7. I kind of account for, Rupe coming back at some point and Henrique coming back maybe at some point as well. So it doesn't change that. It does make it interesting for Edmonton's lineup for where everyone's going to slot in and who comes out. And that's the big question. Who comes out? Because I've really liked Carrick's game.
Yeah.
I don't want to take him out, but he probably is the one that comes. And you're probably moving Ryan to center if you're wanting to keep your core penalty killers who have been doing such a fantastic job out there. So it's like I'd be a little nervous to take out one of the penalty killers.
But Henrique is a penalty killer.
Yeah, but you're not throwing him right away.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough.
No. Why? If he's not absolute 100%, your killers have been red hot without him.
True.
So why throw him out there?
Good point.
Tom. I get he's a penalty killer and was during the season and did a good job of it. But if he's coming back and he's not like 100%, not at a maybe game time decision, he could be good enough to go. He could not be good enough to go. But no, he's at 100%. Then you're throwing him back out there. But their PK has been rolling. And I'm not taking one of those other guys out of the lineup because it has been too good. They're feeling too confident. And now all of a sudden you're throwing a wrench into it where, in my opinion, I don't think there needs to be one. So
right.
It's a tough decision for who you take out. It probably ends up being Carrick again. And maybe you move McLeod around a little, slide Ryan in the middle. But that also makes me nervous because the fourth line's been really good. And I've loved the energy they brought. So
I know.
It's not like it's a bad problem, but it's just it would be a challenging decision, I think, for Knobloch to decide who comes out in that instance.
I'll bounce this one off of you, Cass. Earlier today on Hello Hockey, Belzy and I were talking about maybe Sam Gagner having a conversation with Ryan McLeod. Maybe that conversation has happened. I had the video of Gagner talking to Stu Skinner when he was going through the bit of turmoil he dealt with in round number 2. I'm sure it helped, but would a McLeod need a pep talk from a guy like that? Do you think Gagner has already given him that Does it need to be public, like on the bench while the ice is being cleared by the Zamboni?
No, it doesn't need to be public. Why does it need to be public? I hope it's already happened.
Yeah.
Absolutely. From a development standpoint, would any of us be shocked if Sam Gagner steps into a developmental type role with players where he's having a lot of those conversations?
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, he's still playing. They will probably, there'd be no surprise. So it probably has already happened. Now, again, doesn't need to happen in front of everybody. Doesn't need to happen in front of all his teammates. Doesn't need to happen in front of where we can see it with the camera. I hope it's happened already. And McLeod hasn't been horrible bad. Let's say that too.
He's had horrible bad mistakes.
He's had some horrible bad mistakes, but overall it's not like he's been, just horrible end to end. He's just had a couple of moments that's really clear to see, like, oh, that was him. He made a huge mistake. Can't find the back of the net. So yeah, I do hope Gagner or anybody, they've had some conversations with him, try to talk him up, try to build him up, and talk with what he's, try to bring something out of him. But McLeod's not the guy that's going to come out of the lineup at the end. So I don't know. Yeah,
Cass,
it's going to be Carrick, but
fair enough. And I agree with you. And I think that's probably the likely scenario if Henrique is good to go. Game time decision, like we said earlier. But there have been people who have texted in and asked us in the last couple of days, even today, earlier on Hello Hockey as well, why not take out McLeod? And then I think you and I and Trev, we have an understanding. We talk about it off the air together. To those that would be asking, why can't you just take McLeod out, leave that fourth line together, leave Ryan up on the third line, and just get Henrique in there? What would you tell them, and why is the coaching staff and the coaches valuing McLeod the way they do?
Well, you could, but he's actually, aside from big mistake aside, he's fairly responsible defensively. Like, doesn't get caught out of position that often, and he can skate and he can move, and that helps from a backtracking standpoint. Like, he's pretty good coming back into his own zone, sorting things out. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes there. He gives you some speed through the neutral zone for maintaining possession. And I know the end result of scoring goals hasn't been there, but he's done a pretty good job of transporting the puck, carrying the puck, and you're not getting the same thing without that in the lineup. So, technically, you could take him out of the lineup. Further to that, if someone in the top six were to go down during a game, particularly on one of the wings, he's the guy that needs to go up there, realistically. Most likely. Now maybe Fogle slides in. You could have a couple different looks depending on the game and what's going on, but he provides you an option then as well. He's also a centerman, can take draws. Like there's a bunch of reasons. I don't think there's any one hard set where it's like you can't take him out of the lineup. You definitely still could, but Tom, he's a better player than some of those guys.
Yeah,
that's why he'd stay in.
No, I get it, and I just wanted you to articulate that because there are some that just say, "Hey, it's simple. Take out McLeod, put in Henrique. McLeod needs to sit, he needs to watch." That's why you could take us through the mindset and the process of why the coaching staff wouldn't be taking him out and values the assets that he does bring to the table, despite some mistakes that he has made. Original Puzar getting into the nasty chat. What's up, OP? OP says McLeod is fine. He's upped his quote-unquote physicality over the last 3 games. Third among forwards in hits. He had 5 the other night, by the way. And the one mistake does not disparage from elite defensive play. Drops about to be pissed. One mistake, says Original Puzar. Original Puzar, pretty good take.
It's fair. It's fair because the mistake has been, and that's where I said on a defensive side, it'd be tough to take him out. He's been good defensively, aside from the one big one. Now, offensively,
it's not
hasn't done much.
Right.
It's not there, but defensively, he's been pretty steady and reliable. Again, hasn't got caught out of position. I said that already. But a fair point, Puzar. Fair point.
OP coming in off the top rope. All right, let's get to some text, Cass. This one coming in from Calgary says, my opinion has changed after watching Game 1. I believe the Oilers have a chance to win this series. I feel like Dallas still gets it done, though. Unfortunately, now is the time for the Oilers to go out and prove they want to win the Cup. Put it all out on the ice. Let's go to Bad Billy. Bad Billy texting it says, hey, Tommy and Cass, Dallas will come out strong, but if the Oil weather the initial onslaught and Skinner is solid, no reason the Oil can't win 2 in a row, just like the last 2 in the Vancouver series. No giveaways, stay out of the box, hit hard, shoot a lot. Oil win 3-2. And Edmonton, very good, Cass, on the road this postseason. The record's 5-2 now. Why? Why do you think that might be? Is it the way the mindset being on the road as opposed to being at home? They're still 4-2 at Rogers Place. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, well, Tom, when you win series in the playoffs, your record is usually better. You usually have a plus 500 record.
That old thing, huh? Yeah.
When you win playoff series.
Yes.
So yes, they have won games on the road. Now they have played well on the road.
Mm-hmm.
They've also played well at home. Like I would hesitate to say they've been that much better in one place or the other. Like they've managed to win games in both locations. Now, I don't think there's been aside from the quality of their play, because we've seen them play a poor game at home, we've seen them play a poor game on the road. I don't know. I don't think I'm just not putting any stock in that.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Game 2 tonight, says Top Cheese. I'd normally be happy that the Oilers got the split going, but from the wise words of Kawhi Leonard during the Raptors playoff run, quote, expletive that, let's go get both, unquote. Let's go Oilers, Top Cheese. Tommy Rubella getting in there, and Tommy Rubella says, I thought about driving the 2.5 hours to see today's game, but I didn't want to pay $225 plus fees, plus gas, plus food, just to probably get shot by fair weather hockey fans. All right, Tommy Rubella. Be safe. Watch the game at home and have fun. And I'm glad you're with us today. He also sent in a picture watching on his TV down in the U.S. Brother of Vance Van Vandervan, who we haven't heard from, oddly enough, in the last little bit. Tommy Rubella, tell Vance Van Vandervan that we care for him. We're worried about him. Tell him to check in with us, okay? We miss him. Mike, outside of Edmonton, texting and says, the Oilers rolled 4 lines the other night. Let's talk about depth. Scary if they get the same power play time. Cass, your take on the disparity in power play opportunities. We know Dallas this season, a team that does not take a lot of penalties in the postseason going into game 1. I believe they had given up 26 or had to kill 26 off. And that was through 13 games. So they only really take 2 penalties a game on average. Take the 1, which was a too many men the other night, and then it was Edmonton with 5, including a double minor to Connor McDavid. Your thoughts, because there's people that are asking about the officiating, who's reffing tonight, this and that and all that. But what would you tell those people?
Yeah, I didn't think the officiating was that bad. I thought it was average. It
Yeah.
wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. Edmonton deserved most of those penalties. I didn't like the Holloway one. I said
Fair.
that. I thought he got interfered with, which caused that penalty. And the McDavid one, it was a double minor, high sticking. Yes. Should have also been a holding on Matt Duchene.
But they can't call the holding on the review for those that are wondering about that. Yeah.
Yeah, can't call the holding on the review, which is just makes it unfortunate with that. So it's like, okay, you take away those, really. So it was one missed call.
Yes.
I thought, I don't think Dallas was running around taking penalties the whole night that just weren't called. They weren't. They play a clean, hard game. Their defensemen don't hook, don't hold. They skate very, very well.
Good point.
They hold the middle of the ice very well. They are rangy and sizable, and they don't take that many penalties. They didn't during the season. They haven't during the playoffs. So, I mean, I know people were freaking out about it and losing their minds on the refereeing, but it wasn't that bad. Now, would I expect it to be 5-1 in penalties against tonight? Probably not.
Right.
Probably not. But don't expect 8 power plays. That would be unrealistic and unreasonable.
All right. Nicely done. For those wondering, who are the officials tonight? Because I did see a couple texts come in asking that. Jean Hebert and Garrett Rank are your referees, with Dan O'Rourke standing by. Johnny Murray, Shandor Alfonso on the lines, and Matt McPherson is the standby linesman. Cass, great work as always, my friend. I look forward to catching up with you on the postgame. Nicely done, sir.
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you. We will check in with you guys soon.
There's Matt Kassian, our game analyst, with Game Changers, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite. If you're looking to get into the market, buy a home, sell your home, go check out DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting. Remax Elite. Fantastic stuff. Damon Bunting, real estate, good dude, and a proud sponsor of the Oil Stream pre and post game show, brought to you by GCL Diesel. All right, Lia Assimakopoulos is ready to go. I hope I said it right, Leah. She can correct me. She's probably laughing at me. That's fine. From the Dallas Morning News. And I also need to mention this, that portions of this hour brought to you by Edmonton's Best Rock, 100.3 The Bear. Catch Dusty Nielsen every weekday morning with Yukon and McCord. And then tune in to our dear friend Jess Jackson on your drive home from work every afternoon. It is Lia Assimakopoulos from the Dallas Morning News. Hello, Leah. Welcome to Edmonton Sports Talk and the GCL Diesel pregame show. How's everything going in Dallas?
It is going great. Can you hear me okay?
We hear you loud and clear. Are you at AAC?
I am. I am currently underneath the stands right now in the little media center they've got set up here. So apologies if you hear some music in the background. But We're here. We're ready for game 2. So.
Yeah, we are. Hey, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this game, the last couple of days, a lot of listeners and viewers have been saying, what the heck's going on? Why is everybody standing up? I'm trying to watch the damn game. And Matt Kassian was just on. His wife is from Houston, and he's like, that's just a Texas thing. Leah, maybe you can enlighten us a little bit more for those that didn't catch Cass describing it, and Cass's lovely wife, Mandy, saying, that's how we do sports in Texas. Come on. How would you describe it to Albertans and Edmontonians that are like, what are you guys doing? Sit down. We want to watch the game.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I thought I lost you for a second.
Oh.
Yeah, so the people were upset about, I guess, the standing during overtime. Is that what it was, or was it the
Yes.
whole game? Because
whenever they
overtime.
stand. Yeah, mostly
that,
overtime.
I want to say that isn't a totally normal thing. Overtime, yeah.
Okay.
The fans do tend to stand. They get pretty into it. I mean, it's sports in Texas. Sports in Texas is pretty much unlike anywhere else in this country, and even hockey. So apologies to anyone from Edmonton coming to town. It might be a little different, but I've heard things get a little crazy and rowdy there as well. So, playoff hockey, it happens.
It gets rowdy and crazy up here. It already has, but this has turned into a marathon and not a sprint, and I think a lot of people have lost their quote-unquote wind up here, so they're starting to pace themselves a little bit better. But, some differences in how the fans treat these playoff rounds for sure between Texas and Alberta. Lia Assimakopoulos joining us now from the Dallas Morning News. All right, Lia, what did you make of Game 1? Is it fair to say that the Stars were a little bit sloppy in the first 2 periods in that one? How would you describe it, covering this team all season?
Yeah, I think there was some concern that the Stars were going to come off a 5-day break and look a little rusty, and they needed the rest, especially for some injuries they've been dealing with, but I think they did look a little rusty, and it was a slow start to the game for them. Obviously, you go down 2-0. That's not the position you want to be in to start the series, and they come back, they send it to overtime, send it to double overtime, but it just wasn't the start they were hoping for in the series. So I think any double overtime game, you could take a lot of positives away, you could take some negatives away. I think we learned that this is just like every other playoff series would seem to be, it's going to be a hard fought one. I think both teams have a shot at winning this, but I think in game 2, I at least expect the Stars to come out a little bit hotter, at least in the first period. I think they have to. They can't go down, at least from their perspective. Going down 0-2 at home for the second time in the playoffs is not a good look for them.
No, but they've done it, and they did it against the defending champs, and they had success. So that's in the back of Oilers fans' minds, certainly. You're talking to the players on a day-to-day basis. You're hearing and talking to Pete DeBoer. What is the messaging you're hearing from the Stars going into this one? What are some of the common themes that you've gotten from them?
Yeah, I mean, they said that they felt like Edmonton played a game 7 in game 1, and they played, a regular season game off of a couple of days break. So I think they're looking at this as more of a mindset issue rather than an issue with the power play or an issue with any sort of scheme. So I think they feel that they can come into this one and get a win tonight. Going into the Colorado games, they've lost obviously game one every single round. It was a big emphasis on the importance of winning game two, and of course they did not do it against Vegas. But after that Colorado game two win, where they tied the series at 1-1, they kept saying, this was a crucial win. We had to win this game, and I anticipate tonight is a very similar situation because you don't want to hit the road down 0-2. And yes, as you said, they came back. They were able to do that against the defending champs, but you're testing your luck a little bit to try to do that twice in a playoff run.
Lia Assimakopoulos joining us now from the Dallas Morning News as we get you set for Game 2 of the Western Conference Final between the Oilers and the Stars. Injury-wise, I saw it was Rope Hintz. Looks like he's a game-time decision for the Oilers. Adam Henrique, same type of thing. Are you anticipating Hintz getting in there? Who would come out? How much of an effect would Rope Hintz have on this lineup?
Yeah, I'm predicting that Hintz will be in tonight. I mean, he's a game-time decision, so who knows, but he has been ruled out ahead of the last 3 games. So this whole game time decision, he skated this morning. That, at least to me, is some indication that he's either very close or he's ready to go. Having him back is huge for Dallas. It would probably be either Ryan Faxa or Craig Smith that comes out of the lineup in his place. Those are 2 fourth-line guys that have kind of come in and out of the lineup throughout the playoffs. So we'll see who they decide to take out there. Faxa plays a little bit more on the penalty kill. He's a good face-off guy, so maybe they keep him. We'll see. But, I mean, Hintz is probably one of the more versatile players in Dallas's lineup. He's on the power play. He kills penalties. He's your top-line centerman. I think Pete DeBoer said this morning, someone asked him what it is to bring Hintz back, and he's not Connor McDavid, but he said, what would it be like for them if they lost Connor McDavid? So, he's a crucial piece for Dallas, and he's a playmaker. He's aggressive. He's physical. He brings a lot to the table, and he hasn't really been at his best all playoffs. He had one really good game against Colorado where he had 4 points, but only had 1 point, I think, in the Vegas series, and it was an empty net goal. So he was Dallas's leading scorer in the playoffs last year. So they are definitely waiting to see more this year.
Leah, how about on the back end? I know Yanni Hakanpää is dealing with an issue himself, and we're watching Alex Petrovic get a renaissance in the National Hockey League, albeit he's not playing a ton, and it's a feel-good story. Good Edmonton boy being paired up with Ryan Suter. Is Hakanpää a little further behind? What's the latest there?
Yeah, Hakanpää, he was ruled day to day about 70 days ago. So it's been, it's a hockey injury. We no one really knows, but
right.
He's been skating, but hasn't been a part of any sort of team practices yet. So you got to assume he's still at least a little bit away, but potentially later on in the series, he's got a lower body injury. So they could definitely use him and his physicality, especially in a playoff series. And that third defensive pairing has been an interesting one for Dallas because it's been, they brought up Petrovic from the AHL. I mean, that was a pretty shocking decision when the board did that ahead of, I guess it was game 6 in Colorado, and he's looked really solid with Ryan Suter. So they've been able to survive pretty much going with 5 defensemen through a lot of the playoffs, but as you get into these deeper rounds, that's not always sustainable. So I'm sure they would love to have Hakanpää back, but it's looked okay for them so far.
Leah, how would you describe the play overall in this postseason of Jake Oettinger? Because I know some people have said, hey, when he's on, look out. And a lot of Oilers fans and us in the media here in Edmonton look at Oettinger and we're like, that's a really good goalie, and especially when he's on his game. But we don't really see the flip side to it because we've heard at times, like, if he's not going, it could be a mess. So how would you describe Oettinger, covering him and seeing him day to day? And is there that ugly side to his game as well?
Yeah, I mean, this year has been a really interesting year for him. It's probably been one of the tougher years of his career. And yes, he's still very young. He's only 25, but he was pretty inconsistent in the regular season, dealt with a lot of the injury for about a month. It was the longest injury of his career. And it was a weird year because he was selected as an all-star.
Yep.
It was also the worst year for him. So he dealt with a lot of kind of, sports psychology, mental struggles throughout the season. And in the playoffs and really the last month of the regular season, he pulled it together, and he's been great for them in the playoffs. He's had a couple of off nights, like game 1 of the playoffs against Vegas, he wasn't great. Game 5 against Colorado, he let 5 goals, wasn't great. That was probably his worst game. But the thing about Honduras, he's probably one of the more resilient goalies. He's got, I think, a 12-4 record after a loss, so he's really good after a loss, and that's something that the team loves to preach every time they lose a playoff game. They don't lose 2 in a row very often because of him. So I think that he had his save against McDavid in overtime. That's the Jake Ottinger that everybody loves to see in the playoffs. But there's been some inconsistencies here and there. But I think he's definitely been good enough for Dallas to win and then even to be, because I think he was a big advantage for them in the Colorado series. And I think that Skinner's looked great these last couple of days, but he can be an advantage for them in the Edmonton series too.
Yeah, Skinner went through his sports psychology moment when he had a conversation with Sam Gagner when he had to take a seat for a couple games in that second round series against the Vancouver Canucks. Lia Assimakopoulos joining us now from the Dallas Morning News as we get you set for game number 2. You could text us 780-218-9999. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and the Edmonton Sports Talk radio player on our website. And if you're watching on YouTube, get into the nasty chat as always. All right, Leah, what do you expect between these two teams in game 2? More of the same? Higher scoring? Lower scoring? What do you think? What's your sense?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised with how low scoring game 1 was. I guess 3-2 is kind of normal, but it did go to double overtime. So I'd expect a little more. I mean, two teams that know how to score, 2 elite scoring teams. So I think from Dallas, you have to expect a little more depth scoring as well. That's something that's really served them well throughout the whole season. And they only got goals from Tyler Seguin last game. So you got to think that some other players are going to start to contribute. And, for the Stars' standpoint, they've got to find a way to keep Edmonton's big guys off the score sheet. That was a challenge against Colorado, and they did a pretty good job against McKinnon and McCarr. And they got to find a way to do the same thing against McDavid and Draisaitl, and they didn't in game 1. So, I think I've kind of stopped trying to predict playoff games because I've learned that I can't. But I think we're going to have another good game, just like every game this series probably will be.
Yeah, 2 great teams going at it. Hey, Leah, I got to ask you this. With the Mavs doing what they're doing in the conference finals, up 2-0 over Mini, how much love do the Stars get? How much attention do the Stars get? Because they're in the conference finals as well. Is it equal? Is it more Mavs? More? I doubt it's more Stars, but you're there. You're covering these teams. Like, give us an idea, because right now the CFL team here is playing an exhibition. It's preseason game. There's barely anybody there. Everybody's focusing on this hockey game, obviously. Give us a sense of what it's like with the Mavs doing what they're doing and the Stars doing what they're doing at the exact same time out of the same building.
Yeah, it's such a unique time for Dallas sports. This also comes 9 months after the Texas Rangers won the World Series.
Yes.
So it's just it's a great time to be a Dallas sports fan. I think here, football is king in Texas, so people are always going to want to, even if the Cowboys are the worst team of all 4, they're always going to get the most attention. But I think in the regular season, the Mavs definitely got a lot more with Luka and Kyrie, but I think in the playoffs, I mean, you're seeing a pretty even split.
Nice.
People really do rally behind the Stars. Maybe a little more so the Mavs, just because the Stars were here last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mavs, they maybe came as a little more of a surprise to make it to the conference finals, whereas the Stars, you win the West, you hope they make it to the conference finals. But, the building is insane every night. It's sellout every night. And I think the hockey fan base in Dallas might be small relative to other sports, but it's very passionate.
Yes.
And this time of year, it's kind of hard not to get into hockey.
I love it. That is a great way to encapsulate the feel of Dallas. A phenomenal city. Absolutely loved it. Leah, this was great. Hopefully you could do it again throughout the series with us. And I'll say this, enjoy the game. Fantastic stuff. We'll do this again if you're up for it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That's Lia Assimakopoulos for the Dallas Morning News, covering the Stars. And check her out on X. She's great. We have her in our tweet that we put out for the pregame show if you want to stay up to speed on the Stars. Great stuff there. Good perspective. And a nice feel for the vibe in Dallas, because right here, all you see is orange and blue, a little bit of green and gold, a smattering of green and gold I saw today and a little bit yesterday, Trev, but really it's a preseason game. I know Saskatchewan's in town, but they have 100 and something players dressed for this preseason game. Everybody's worried about game number 2 of the conference final up here in Edmonton.
That is very true.
That is correct, Tom.
100%. I can't wait. I did just get my media pass for the Elks season.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I can't wait. It's funny. The headshot that they got of me is the photo that we took together when we were in the press box at the Oilers game.
You know who's doing that?
Which
the man that was in that seat at the old place before.
And his name, is it Latino Heat? Is that what they call it?
Latino Heat.
Latino Heat. Hernan.
Salas.
Yeah, Hernan's a beauty. So thank you for that, Hernan.
I don't know if his middle name's Carlito. It's probably Bartholomew. Let's not kid ourselves.
That seems to be, yeah.
It's everybody's middle name.
Yeah.
So good to have Lia Assimakopoulos on. She's great. Like I said, follow her if you want to keep up to date on those Dallas Stars. Really, really damn good team in a really, really damn good sports city. All right, let's get off a couple of texts here. And Vance Vandervan checking in. All right, he's doing well. He's got a bottle of Gretzky whiskey, which is excellent. A Red Bull, which he'll need. And I'm assuming Vance Vandervan is enjoying a hot tub session. Nice, Vance Vandervan. Brother of Tommy Rubella. Thank you for checking in. He says, Triple V checking in from a hot tub, portable computers and cell phones. What a wonderful modern time we live in. That's Vandervan. So good to hear from you, pal. Jason, the pharmacist, texting in says, I think the Oilers get 3 power plays tonight, and I think they score at least once. Thanks for the show, Tommy and Cass and YouTube. Trev. And then Maple Jed just says, slide Henrique in at third line center, have a crap load of speed on both wings, pull out Ryan or Brown. Maple Jed's got the answers. I like it. That's why we put out the questions to our listeners and our audience. Ooh, Tommy Rubello bouncing back with one, too. Tommy Rubella says, I think the Oilers are a contender, as they should be. Dallas, though, I think, is getting too much respect. They're a good team, but they beat a Vegas team that backed it to the playoffs. Then they beat a Colorado team that was facing off-ice issues. It's interesting, and I understand 100% where Tommy Rubella is coming from with that viewpoint. I really do. I like to give teams the benefit of the doubt. I think with the Vegas Golden Knights, the championship pedigree, they have so many good players. I know they had the injuries. I know Mark Stone, the whole LTIR thing, the shenanigans, Tomas Hertl coming back. And I remember when the Golden Knights were here late in the season and Lawless was on the rink report with me, and he's like, Tom, they played a ton of hockey. They're starting to wear down. They're tired. I didn't want to buy it just because I'm stubborn. But maybe that is true. And Tommy Rubella is right. They did back it to the playoffs. They were in a bit of a dogfight there. And they had the 2-0 lead on the Stars, and the Stars just took over the rest of the series. Then Colorado kind of had a smack from the Seattle Kraken, let's call it, last year in the playoffs, losing to them in the first round. Phenomenal for Seattle to knock off the defending champs last year in the postseason. Great start to that franchise's history. Absolutely. Not to the extent that the Golden Knights had, obviously, but that was awesome for the Kraken. The Avs look like an absolute threat all season long. Yes, the situation with Nichushkin was bad. He was having a very good postseason. You can't do that stuff, especially when you've been in the assistance program. I know he needs his help. He's going to get his help again. He's suspended now. Came at an awful time. They don't have their captain again, Gabriel Landeskog, who wants to continue to play. But it just felt like Colorado was on a mission, right? And it just kind of, the wheels fell off really quickly. But I don't want to discount the Avs because they're a hell of a team too. The Oilers grind one out against the Canucks. They were on the ropes, bounced back, took care of business against the LA Kings. Part of having playoff success is a bit of luck, but you got to make your own luck as well. It's going to be interesting. I'm not discounting anything Tommy Rubella said. I fully understand where he's coming from with that.
No, that's it's interesting because we're seeing it, both teams coming from the West and East this year. I feel like the Rangers aren't really given or getting that much credit at all. And you look at the West, the Dallas Stars, they finished first in the West. And so that's an interesting take from Tommy Rubella. But I certainly think this is an amazing team. They have one of, when he's at the top of his game, probably like a top 5 defenseman in the whole NHL, Miro Heiskanen. We've talked at length just how deep they are. You look at their roster up and down the lineup. So I still think they're like a really, really good team.
Same.
But yeah, interesting take, Tommy.
Let's go to Spruce Grove, Corey. We are going to go inside the Oilers locker room and the Stars locker room shortly when the teams hit the ice for Warm-up will also get you updated lineups, but I like this one from Spruce Grove Corey. I have an answer. It's a bit of a smart-ass answer. Is there room in the budget to spruce up Trev's production area? The darkness and dankness of it. Trev deserves more. First of all, no, he doesn't.
No, I don't.
Secondly, that is audio or soundproofing foam. What he does need maybe is a light. Is there budget? Yes. Will we do it? No, by choice.
I like being in the dark anyway, so I'm okay with this. But sometimes when I wear a black hoodie,
Floating head.
Yeah, honestly, like it's very floating. But I can bring up the exposure. I don't know. I like there.
Just
That's a
leave
little
it.
bit better.
You don't
that's a
put
little better.
baby in the corner. You put YouTube Trev and Zacticum in the corner.
Yeah, no, for sure. But maybe that's next year's.
Spruce
an
Grove Corey. This
off
is
summer.
what we're focusing on heading into Game 2 of the conference. I'm just kidding. It's all good. All right, YouTube Trev's on screen. YouTube Trev, tell us where we're going first when it comes to interviews.
Oh, Tommy, you'll leave it to me to pick? Okay,
Yes, sir.
I will go. Let's start things off with Edmonton Oilers head coach. Let's start with Chris Knobloch.
Adam Henrique and his status for tonight.
Adam is a game time decision. He'll be taking warm up, and then we'll decide from there.
Having killer instinct in this game. Like they're faced with going down 2-0, so maybe it's a different sense of urgency for them. But is there a way for you to make sure you dictate tonight despite that situation?
I think it's really important that we don't take a step back at all. We know Dallas is going to continue to get stronger throughout the series. We've seen it so far in the playoffs, with them falling behind and winning their series. And for us, we can't get distracted or feel comfortable at all, because when you're playing against a good team, as well as we played last night, it was just good enough to win that game. And for us to take a step back, that won't be good enough. We have to make sure we are playing our best.
Second row left, Derek.
Hey, Chris. We've had the pleasure of watching Leon Draisaitl play for the last however long he's been here, but he looks like he elevates his game at playoff time. And then I just want to ask you about how he does those little things, like not that he wasn't doing it in regular season, but they're noticeable now, the back check and getting in the lanes, blocking shots. Just want to ask you about his elevation of his game at playoff time.
He does everything really well. He's bought in. He wants to win. And I think he's felt that the team has been really close, and he's had unbelievable performances throughout the playoffs, and the team's fallen short. And, he doesn't want to leave anything to chance. You don't get many opportunities with a good team to opportunity to win a Stanley Cup, and he wants to do everything possible to give the team the opportunity to win. And, you saw block shots in the LA series, the Vancouver series, key face-offs. He's doing it all, and he's putting up the points. Obviously, it gets recognized, but he's been doing so much more.
All right, that's head coach Chris Knobloch. Short, sweet, to the point today from his availability. Not giving away too much game time decision for Adam Henrique. I'm clicking through. I have not seen any updates from warm-up in Dallas just yet. Some shenanigans as the team plays sewer ball. There's a picture of Calvin Pickard trying to climb a pillar, hugging it, while Stu Skinner is doing his whatever routine. Maybe he's juggling like a lacrosse ball or something. But yeah, the guys are getting ready, and certainly the guys from Dallas as well. Quick update, because this is the only NHL game, but in Memorial Cup action, the London Knights have defeated the Drummondville Voltigeurs 4-0 to open things up. Should be fun. They're in Saginaw, right? They're in Saginaw for the Memorial Cup, so that's going to be great. We'll see how Moose Jaw fares representing the Western Hockey League. A couple of texts before we go back inside the Oilers locker room, and then eventually we'll get to Dallas' side as well. This one comes in from Tommy Rabella. Says, who's that beautiful, mysterious man in the dark corner? I bet he knows everything I need to know to continue the plot. That would be YouTube, Trev. You're shaking your head over there.
That was good. I like it. Tommy Rabella's on fire tonight.
Yeah, he is. Tommy Rabella is bringing it. Another text comes in out of Calgary. Says, DG, do you think Landeskog will ever play again? At this point, it's seemingly less and less likely. You know what? I hope he plays again because I think he's a tremendous player. He's in early 30s. He's a warrior, and I think also is a good steward of the game, you know?
Absolutely, Tommy.
Yeah.
Good leader, very good leader at a very young age. Second youngest captain in NHL history, drafted second overall in 2011. Gabe Landeskog is an absolute beauty, and it's fascinating because whenever you hear him talk, whenever he's on postgame or whatever, everyone just talks about his English. He's just so like he's
Doesn't
Swedish.
Sound like he's Swedish.
Yeah, it's incredible. So yeah, that guy is an absolute. Every team in the NHL would love a player like Gabe Landeskog. He was such a integral piece for that team when they won the Cup 2 years ago, and I don't know, this year they really they absolutely could have used a guy like Gabe Landeskog.
Tough go with the knees, the surgeries, trying to make sure it's really good and he's able to skate and play comfortably. I hope his career continues. I want to say yes, it continues. I feel like we're going to see him, and he's going to give it another shot. But, man, oh, man, that is a tough go because we're 2 years into this now, and we still, like, it's been mysterious. There've been updates. There's been times where we've seen him skating, and then it goes dark for a bit, speaking of the dark man in the corner. But, yeah, that's a tough one.
Absolutely, and just you hear it in his voice when the season-ending interviews that he did this past week. He said it was torture. This year, it was absolute torture. The regular season was pretty bad, but watching it in the playoffs, right? I could only imagine what he's going through. So yeah, certainly he's your captain, so that's real tough.
Quick update from American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, from our guest tonight, Stars analyst and reporter Lia Assimakopoulos. Rope Hintz is not on the ice for warm-up. He will not play. Big thank you to Leah for stopping by. Assimakopoulos from the Dallas Morning News. She says, no Rope Hintz tonight. There you go. Now I'm looking for an Oilers update. You see anything? Have you seen one? If I see one, I'll pass it along.
I've been refreshing the Twitter feed, and still nothing, Tommy.
Okay, well, in the meantime, let's go back inside the Oilers locker room. Trev, you call it. Who are we going to hear from?
We're going to hear from the leader in scoring right now in the postseason. This is 29 of your Edmonton Oilers, Leon Draisaitl.
Right under your stick in game one. Can you maybe just do you normally do that?
Yeah, I do quite a bit. I don't know. It's just the grip tape when it gets fluffy or whatever. I don't like that. I'm a little OCD when it comes to that. So just like it very clean.
And this training staff carries a lighter for various purposes?
Yeah, I carry one, not on the ice, obviously, but in my stall. But yeah, the guys have one ready for me at all times.
Could be a secret weapon on base.
I don't think so.
What's Eddie the strength, Leon? What did you like about what you guys were able to do in game one? And do you feel like there was kind of a formula in there for you to pull out here?
Yeah, I thought we played well. I thought we defended the rush well. They created a lot of chances off the rush, so I thought we handled that really well. I thought our D did a great job of denying lines and get them to go east-west. So I thought our D were really big in that, and then obviously we scored a couple of goals, 5-on-5, which were big.
Their D doesn't seem to be. They're a mobile defense, but they don't have the size and the physicality that Vancouver does. You notice a difference to playing against those guys?
Yeah, it's a different makeup of a team for sure. Vancouver has long, rangy, hard defensemen, and not that Dallas doesn't, but just a different style a little bit maybe. But obviously in their own way, very hard to play against. And yeah, just looking for tonight to keep it going.
Can you be as aggressive on the forecheck against guys like they have in the back end that can move the puck so well like you did against Vancouver?
That's how we're going to try and get to them and create zone time, right, is by forechecking hard and creating turnovers. That's the recipe for every team going into any team that's good at breaking the puck out.
Game the other night, you guys had 3 shots in the first period, I think, and Pete DeBoer just said he has a formula of how to keep your guys' offense sort of in check and limited to that. What are you looking at of your start tonight that's maybe different from game 1?
Yeah, just shoot the puck more, have the puck more, create better looks. I think we got another step to go when it comes to, creating offensive zone time and creating looks for ourselves. That certainly wasn't our best in game 1, but again, they're a good team. They're experienced. They know how to limit those looks. Now it's up to us to look to create more.
When the other team only gets one penalty and it's too many men, is that as much about them playing and not having any infractions, or as much about you guys playing and not forcing them into any infractions?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think we can do a better job of holding onto pucks and creating some potential calls our way. On the other side, obviously, our power play is dangerous. It's good. We know that they're going to try and limit their penalties, right? So I think it's a little bit of both.
Whether it's tonight or later in the series, what can Adam Henrique bring to you guys when he gets back in the lineup?
A lot of experience, very smart hockey player, really a guy that you can put in any position in our lineup, and he'll be out.
All right, there is Leon Draisaitl leading the National Hockey League in playoffs, scoring. Draisaitl so far this postseason, rolling along quite nicely. 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 points, plus 3, 10 penalty minutes in 13 games played. You got McDavid also put together a nice run in the postseason, 23 points for him, 3 goals, 20 assists. Huge goal the other night, obviously, in Game 1, double OT, 32 seconds in. Evan Bouchard also having a nice postseason with 21 points, 5 goals, 16 assists, plus 13 for Bouchard. Darnell Nurse, minus 10 this postseason. That stinks. Warren Fogle, minus 7. Vinny Desharnais, minus 6. Corey Perry, minus 3. Ryan McLeod, minus 4. Cody Ceci, also minus 6. Ew. Bad numbers. Just gross. You're laughing over. You like that reaction?
I like that.
Ew.
Ooh, that's bad.
That stinks.
Yeah, that stinks. Yeah, that's not the best.
We do have an update for you from warm-up. Adam Henrique is taking warm-up as expected. Radek Faksa not taking warm-up for Dallas, so he should be out. And Ty Dellandrea and Maverick Bourque are taking the warm-up, so we're going to see a change for the Stars. Again, if you're just joining us, Rope Hintz not on the ice for warm-up. He's out as well. Henrique is taking warm-up. We will let you know if he does get the green light to play tonight. Here are your lines for the Stars from Lia Assimakopoulos, who was on the show a little bit earlier from the Dallas Morning News. The Stars lines for game number 2, Matt Duchene with Mason Marchment and Joe Pavelski, Tyler Seguin between Jason Robertson and Evgeny Dodonov, Wyatt Johnston with Jamie Benn and Logan Stankoven, and then Sam Steele with Ty Dellandrea and Craig Smith. So Pete DeBoer mixing up his lines in game 2. Interesting. Thomas Harley with Miro Heiskanen, S.L. Lindell with Chris Tanev, and then Ryan Suter with Edmonton boy Alex Petrovich, Jake Ottinger in goal. No Faksa, no Hintz for the Stars. Thank you, Leah, for the update there. Let's go to the Dallas Stars locker room now, if we could, Trev. I know I'm switching it up on you a little bit. Who do we have here, pal?
Yeah, this is Jason Robertson and Wyatt Johnston ahead of tonight's game.
We've talked about it even before game 1. How do you guys bounce back? Is there just a mindset, or is it just it happens naturally?
I think it's the mindset. Like I said earlier, it's unfortunate that lost every game 1 in my career before we even talked about it. But that's it's not like it's going to be any easier tonight. We saw it against Vegas. We lost game 2, so we were able to respond against Colorado, and we're going to have to be able to do it tonight. So I'm sure everyone will be ready and make adjustments accordingly and be ready to go.
Other questions? We'll go to Tracy on the left.
Wyatt, Pete said that Robe Hintz is a game time decision if he's able to go. Just how much of a boost is that on the ice, in the room, everything for you guys?
Yeah, it's huge. He's an awesome player. He's, drives the game, and he's awesome. So yeah, it would be great, if he's in the lineup tonight. But obviously, if not, just other guys stepping up, and kind of whoever's been in that role, or kind of everyone who's been on the ice have just been able to step up and do what needs to be done. Yeah.
Center left, Derek.
White, there's a lot of older veterans on this team and a lot of young guys on this team. I'm just curious how you guys bridge that generation gap. Like when you guys talk about things, is there a generation gap there, and how do you guys get along?
We get along really well. At the end of the day, when we're on the ice, age, experience, kind of all that stuff doesn't really matter. We're just out there playing the game, and everyone's doing their part, doing what needs to be done. So, I think it's been awesome for me to have all the older guys just kind of be guys to look up to, learn from, and just kind of get their input. It's awesome for younger guys like me, and just to learn from them. But yeah, on the ice, we're just it doesn't really matter. Kind of, it's just whoever's out there just kind of does their part, and
Fourth row on the left, Ryan.
This is for either one of you. What would you say were the lessons learned from the position you're in this time last year, where you're in the Western Conference Final and you've seen, hey, this is how a series can get away, but you can also climb back in it? And how do you think that's helped you this year in terms of being able to stay in series regardless of what happens in Game 1?
Yeah, it's definitely a lesson we learned last year, especially at the conference finals. It's a big moment, but I think we're a better team now than we were last year. So our mentality as a group is stronger. I think guys are more confident in our response. I think that's been the way the whole year. We haven't let a lot of stuff get away from us like last postseason. So I think everyone's going to be mentally sharp, ready to go, like they were, every game 2 of these playoffs. And whatever happens. But we're not going to be able to walk away tonight knowing that we aren't prepared and aren't ready.
Back to Mike on the right.
Hey, Wyatt. Joe Pavelski worked out yesterday, talked about how he feels he needs to give more to the team. Pete talked this morning just about how that example can really create leadership, and, guys will watch him and see just what you have to do. So what is the impact for a young player to watch a guy like Joe put in that extra work and take responsibility?
Yeah, it's great. I'm pretty lucky I get to see, firsthand, all the stuff he does. Obviously everyone gets to see what he does at the rink, but I get to see kind of what he does away from the rink, and, just how much he, does to make sure he's ready to play every night. And, it's impressive what he's been doing at his age. And it's, there's a reason for that, just kind of the way he treats his body, how much work he puts into the game. And, it's a great example for everyone just seeing, what he's doing, and he's putting in that work. He's just doing what he can to make sure he's ready to play every night. And that's one thing that I know I've really took from him, and I think everyone's done that as well.
Any more questions? Thank you. Hang on. Wait for the mic, please, Mark. Thanks.
What's the thing? Like, you're a young guy, you got a big long career ahead of you. He's 39, and somewhere near the end. What's the thing you learn from Joe that you're going to never forget as you go through your career?
It's a good question. I think there's a lot of things. As I kind of mentioned before, I think the biggest thing is just the way he goes about his business every day, and all the work he puts into his game and his body, especially off the ice. I think that's probably maybe the biggest thing that I've learned. Being in junior and before that, you think you treat your body well, you think you do the right things, but when you're here and you get to see all the pros here, and especially Joe, you see how much can be done. I've took a lot from him, and then I think another thing is just his love for the game. And you see him every day. You see the smile on his face. You see how much he loves
he loves the game and he loves being at the rink and being around the boys. And I think that's really important as well. Just if you love the game, you're going to want to keep pushing, you're going to want to keep playing, and I think those are probably the two biggest things that I've learned from him.
All right, there was Wyatt Johnston and Jason Robertson of the Dallas Stars. This is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. GCL Diesel specializes in giving your diesel engine's heart a second wind. We test and remanufacture fuel injectors, pumps, and turbos for a wide range of applications, breathing new life into vital components. Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev, as we get you set for game number 2. An update on Edmonton's lineup. Adam Henrique taking warm-up. Daily Faceoff reporting he is out for tonight, and the lineup is expected to stay the same as it has been for the last 3 games. YouTube Trev is convulsing over there. Are you okay? You made a weird motion there. Your teeth were grinding.
I guess it's obviously they know the right decision and whatnot. It would have been interesting to see if Rupe Hintz was in. I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
Counteract. Oh, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So that I don't know. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. That's what I'm thinking right now. They see that Hintz is out, so they're like, okay, we won without Henrique in the first game. They didn't have Hintz in. Let's just run it back. And but you get Henrique 2 more days of resting. Yep. So I guess actually this is the right call, probably. Tell me.
Yeah, high ankle sprains are very difficult, and they take everybody's body heals differently from them. Varying degrees of sprains. Certainly, I'm not a doctor. Jason Strudwick is, but I'm just assuming. And yeah, Trev says he's a doctor too. If the lines stay the same, which Daily Faceoff says they will, McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, Draisaitl with Holloway and Kane, McLeod between Fogle and Ryan Carrick, centering Janmark and Brown on defense, Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Desharnais, Kulak with CC. Your goalies for tonight, Stuart Skinner, 8-3 this postseason, 270 goals against average, 888 save percentage, 1 shutout in 11 playoff games this year. And at the other end of the rink, another 25-year-old, Jake Gottinger, 8-6, 2.10 goals against average, 919 save percentage in 14 playoff games in 2024. And it should be another great matchup. It'll be fairly stressful for a lot of people. It'll be fun for others, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in game number 2 coming out of Dallas. All right, let's wind things down with some text. Nasty chat, you guys were great today. I saw people who are fans of neither team just saying, I'm here to watch. I'm enjoying the series. Thank you for joining us. If you're new to EST, like, share, subscribe, hit the thumbs up. We appreciate it so very much. We're already over 100 thumbs up on the pregame show, which is rare, and it's great, and it's nice to see people, being like, oh, that's where you guys went from 1260. Yes, we're right here. Here we are. We've been doing this for, 9 months now? 8 months, something like that.
Yeah, 9 months.
9 months.
Crazy.
My goodness. It's been a lot of fun. Continues to get better and better and better, and we could do more and more cool things like Side Hustle Cole pointed out, texting in, said, Tommy, I had my first birdie booze before the last game. I'm keeping the tradition going. Checking in from Kelowna with a bottle of birdie booze by the pool. Birdie booze, same color as the water in the pool. Nuclear blue, as we like to call it. Maple Jed says, in case it hasn't been said yet, LFG. All right, Maple Jed. Tommy Rubella with some trash talk, saying, all trash talk aside, how good was that 2018 draft for the Stars? It was huge. And that is a testament to drafting, developing, pro scouting, amateur scouting. Like, the Stars have been doing it right. That's why they've been able to refresh on the fly. And Edmonton is probably going to have to do that right away here. We're talking like this summer. Until then, there are plenty of games to be played. Could be at least 4 more. And that is a conversation, or many conversations, we will have in the offseason. But the Stars are a good example of refreshing on the fly, adding to the framework of the team, building off of it, using some older pieces and some younger pieces, hitting on your drafts, not just first-rounders. Edmonton's going to have to do the same. I digress. They have a good team right now. This is the team trying to march towards the Stanley Cup. They've got 1 win in this series, looking for a second one tonight. Let's see if they get it. The Stars are going to push back, counterpunch very, very hard tonight. Spruce Grove Corey looking out for YouTube, Trev. Doesn't like the background with all the noise cancellation foam in the background there.
Makes us sound good, though.
It does. Nice and warm sound.
Yeah.
Says maybe even a poster or a plant or something for YouTube, Trev.
No.
You want to be a plant daddy?
I like this. No, I like this, Tommy.
I like it. You do great. You and Zach Tacumber just
Work magic behind here, okay?
Absolutely tremendous. All right, that's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show right here on EST. Fantastic stuff. Big thank you to everybody who watched and listened. As always, we're going to be live on location, Hudson's White Avenue for Game 3 on Monday. And we're so glad that you could join us. Lia Assimakopoulos, great stuff from her from the Dallas Morning News. We'll have Lia back on if she wants to on the pregame shows going forward in what should be a long, fun, stressful series. Oilers and Stars Game 2 coming up next. For YouTube, Trev and Matt Kassian, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Enjoy game number 2. We'll see you on the postgame show. Ciao for now.